Okay, distance. We want to find the distance from J to K. We can count, right? I'll count the hops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 6 units. So we would say JK equals 6. We just counted them. If you look at just the numbers and we didn't draw the number line. So we said J was at -2 and K was at 4. The other thing that we can do is this. Is we can find the distance by subtracting the two numbers. Now if one of them is negative, you'll notice I have a double negative here. And since we're talking distance, we want to use absolute. Absolute value means the distance of. So 4 minus a -2 is the absolute value of 6, double negative, okay, and that is 6 units away. So we subtract, right? Alright, if we want to find TS and we have a graph, we can do something similar here by counting. So if I count from T to S, I cannot count diagonally. I can only count up and down and left and right. So if I count from T, so we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. And then if we count over, you'll notice that we make a right triangle. Now hopefully you probably have seen right triangles before. Right triangle means that there's a 90-degree angle in there, or a perpendicular angle. And so if we wanted to find the third side of a right triangle, we would use Pythagorean theorem. And that's exactly what I'm going to employ here. So I'm going to say 10 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared, Pythagorean theorem. So we get 100 now what do we do here? C squared equals 136. I can take the square root. Okay, and for our purposes, you can go ahead and type that in your calculator to get the decimal equivalent. Should be a little less than 12, so like 11 point something. Okay, I don't have my calculator handy, so you'll have to do that part. Now, there is a formula to find distance as well. Here's what it looks like. And you're going to see how this resembles the last one that we did. You subtract your x's and square it. So this is x sub 2 minus x sub 1 plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 quantity squared. And then you take the square root of the whole thing. Now hopefully you're going to see how this resembles what we just did. When we subtract our x's, essentially what we're doing is finding that distance, that horizontal distance, or we could have just like counted. So if they give us the ordered pair, so t would be at 1, 2, 3, 4, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and s was at 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's our ordered pairs that we're going to use. So if we wanted to find TS, we would look at the x coordinate, and then the y coordinate, and then we would simplify it. Now something hopefully interesting is going to kind of happen here for us. negative 6 squared. Negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive 36. Hey, I think we got that in the last example, right? Remember when we counted and, right, and squared it? Negative 10 squared. We counted 10 vertically, right, from t to s over here. If we square that in the Pythagorean theorem, we got 100. Yeah? And then at the end of the Pythagorean theorem, we took the square root. So again, that's 136, the square root of 136. So you can use either method. It doesn't really matter. I will say that if you do Pythagorean theorem, you probably ought to graph that out on graph paper. So that is a little bit of a drawback because you do have to draw the picture most of the time. But the good news is that now you have a visual of doing that.